Hello everybody, this is T. I'm doing a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe player interview with Xander. We're going to be talking about his Mario Kart Universal Tournament that just finished up, as well as some Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Wii related questions, as well as some IRL stuff relating to EGX that happened a long time ago. How are you doing, man?
Excited for I'm excited for that. And yeah, I'm doing all right. Just got finished playing Fortnite for a while, but I
Yeah,
would like to say I'm prepared for this now.
yeah. Hopefully this doesn't screw up like the first time. Uh,
Yeah.
so, for a while, I guess you were in Severance or whatever, like RE, like Severance and stuff. But
hmm
recently, I think was it not recently, but like the past few months or past year, it like died, I believe. And you
Yeah.
joined High Definition. Can you just talk about like what happened between Severance and why you joined High Definition, or like any other teams, just the history of that?
Yeah. Well, obviously I was in XI like a long time ago. It's not that long ago, but quite a while ago. Um, I joined XI originally because I mean SPC wasn't playing, and I knew people in there. But eventually, SPC came back. We wanted to play again, um, but it didn't really last very long. Uh,
Oh my God.
we we kind of were just forcing ourselves to play. Really, we wanted to play with each other, but the game was just not something we enjoyed as much as we did before. So for a few seasons, excuse me, um, we were kind of thinking about how much we didn't really want to play, how we only played MQ and nothing else really.
Mm.
Um, until it came to like the first few weeks of the most recent season, where we realized we can't like keep this up anymore, so we wanted to drop. We agreed, like to not trash the season. We wanted to wait until week 5, because that's the halfway point. Teams don't get free wins. Like I mean, well, in the first half they don't get free wins. In the second half they do, but everyone gets one. So try to keep it as fair as possible. Um, and we obviously lost to Z and then dropped. People thought we dropped because of the loss, but that isn't the case. Regardless of whether people want to believe that or not, it's whatever. I'm obviously not gonna John over the war or anything. They definitely played well. Uh, they deserve to win. They were practicing more than us, like uh, everything. Um, I think they don't think they play that much either, but whatever. Eh, good job on them, I guess. But when disbanded, if you can call it that, we were all just gonna not play anymore. But I decided that for fun I would play sometimes because as long as I didn't feel pressured to, because it was mainly the leagues I didn't like playing in, because like thinking like during the week like I have to play MKU tomorrow, I had to play WL tomorrow, CTWL tomorrow, I have this many matches in the weekend, like I just didn't like it. It was a lot nicer being like more free and being able to choose when I wanted to play. um so I'd play sometimes, and Kane Strike kind of started playing with me, like Roble, Ruby. Like we started playing lounge. Not as obviously we wouldn't play as a team, but it was just fun to play together as friends. Um, Eventually, uh, I got asked to join HD. It was more like I was asked if I was interested, um, and it was supposed to be to kind of keep myself ready for World Cup.
Okay.
But I ended up not really playing, and I joined AC regardless, and I was warring with them and warring a little bit, especially in like a fresh atmosphere and just playing for fun, and again not feeling pressured to play. Those league matches got me a little more interested in the game again.
Uh,
Um,
what was the difference between an environment between HD and Severance?
oh, I feel like HD is a lot more wholesome. If that like that's like a vibe I get. They're a lot more wholesome. Obviously, they're they do have their fun. They they it's not like they're boring people, but the contrast of humor from what I've seen, I think SVC like will laugh at just about anything.
Hmm.
whether it's like dry humor, dark humor, like any of that. Whereas it seems like it isn't so much like that in HD. I could be wrong. I haven't really been there that long. Um,
Hmm.
HD is also, it feels like a lot more of a team because FCC was kind of just like a group and we were pretty disorganized. We kind of
Yeah.
just like did whatever. HD, however, like it's like a proper team. That's the kind of like vibe I get. Like Rookie tries to run it like properly, whereas like in SVC, I was kind of just like, all right, guys, who wants to play tomorrow? Like, and we kind of
Hmm.
just slapped whatever together. Um, and like, so I guess those would be the I guess the two main differences. Um, I can't really think of much else. Like, so yeah, I guess the humor and I guess just the overall feel of the team. And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing to like feel like a proper clan. I think that's a good thing. A clan is supposed to be a clan. The
Hmm.
organization is definitely good. I like both in their own ways.
All right. So fair enough. Fair enough. Do you feel more pressure playing in SVC than in HD, or do you feel like the same amount of pressure?
Um, it's probably the same, like because obviously I enjoy playing the game when I want to play it. Um, with SVC, I honestly didn't really feel any pressure. I mean, it's kind of the same as now. Like in SVC, we only played for each other. Um, and I kind of knew that like at one point anyway that I could just say I don't want to play anymore like as soon as I wanted and we'd just stop playing. Um, because it was kind of almost like an unspoken rule that we would just like not complain about having to play. Like we joke about it, but we wouldn't really say that we don't want to play. Um, it was never really addressed, but once it started being voiced by like multiple people, that's when I realized, okay, yeah, I don't really have to care anymore.
Okay.
As soon as I don't want to play, I can just not play. But I guess like before that, like at times when I didn't feel like playing the game, like in NF for example, when NF played MQ back in MKU,
Hmm.
I definitely feel pressured. Like I would try to come up with excuses sometimes as to why I couldn't play. Um,
Oh
like
no.
HD, like my time in there, like at the beginning, like I was kind of a bit like unsure whether or not I wanted to play the game, but like gradually, like my motivation recently has increased a
Yeah.
little bit. So I do I feel perfectly fine about playing. I don't know if that will change, but as of right now, I don't really feel any pressure really.
Hmm.
Um, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I remember. Oh, was it? No, sorry, sorry. Uh, I don't know what I was going about. So you guys. So recently you actually won the tournament with HD. I think it was like the Mario Kart Wii
Yeah.
tournament. Do you want to talk about? I guess talk about the format in general, and then I guess your path to like winning. I guess I think it was like what was it like? You were seated in the quarterfinals.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think 8 teams. I think it was like JBZZ, XI, your team. I don't know the rest of the teams. I know there's like Mushroom Team, Arcadia, stuff like that. It was like you guys were seeded, and then everyone else had to play in a group. Then
hmm
there was first round matches. Then it was your guys's. So do you want to like talk about your matches, your personally your matches that you played, or like in
Yeah.
general the team's matches?
Um, I didn't pay that much attention to the tournament itself, so I guess I'll just talk about like my own experience in it.
Hmm.
Um, I hadn't practiced that much with HD. Like, I mean, it's not like I never played, but there was a week where I said, I'll practice this week, and then I just didn't. Um, and then like the match is coming up, I was like, oh, like I'm like I kind of feel bad about like playing because obviously I was asked to play,
Hmm.
and I was like unsure like if it was really fair because I even went as far as to say I would practice and I still didn't.
Oh
Um,
no.
we ended up playing. I ended up playing obviously. It was fun. I mean, of course it was fun. I guess we ended up winning. Uh,
You just played against
I
You just play against JBCC, right? Not against XI?
I played against WFXI and
Oh,
JB, yeah, Jabiz as I call them.
yeah.
I think I don't know if like
So you
anyone
played all
else
three
does
matches, right?
that.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I'm just like, unless like something is wrong with my brain. Like, like I feel like my memories of the first match are just gone. I don't like. I think I like. Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember. I don't really remember much of the first match because, um, I feel like I kind of just played then. I feel I wasn't really I wasn't really that into it. I think
All
the
right.
upcoming week was when I kind of started wanting to play a little bit more. Um, and obviously it was semifinals and finals. That that that's where it like matters.
Hmm.
Like you gotta
Yeah.
play versus teams that were seated higher than you, and you gotta try to beat them. Uh,
Hmm.
the XI war. Um, Personally, I played a lot better in.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if that was because like of the difference in teams. How XI contrasts from Jabiz. I'm just gonna keep saying Jabiz. I can't say it. It's just
It's
so
okay.
weird
It's
for me.
okay.
Um, yeah. Uh, but like I said, individually, I played a lot better. Uh, it like again, I hadn't practiced that much, so I wasn't sure like what it was going to be like. When like with the, I guess, the main lineup, if you could call it that.
Hmm.
Uh, but it ended like I didn't really set like any sort of expectation or anything like that. I wasn't thinking it would be amazing. I wasn't thinking it would be terrible. I just kind of I kind of went into it with an open mind, I guess, kind of
Just play.
thinking, okay, let's see how this
Yeah.
goes. Um, and it was good. Like, I obviously don't know them like personally as well as I do SVC,
Hmm.
but like as a team, it was fun to play with them. It felt like it kind of worked a little different from SVC, and the change was kind of nice. Like people seem to have different roles, I guess, and in my eyes, that was interesting. Like I know, like for example, I guess like someone who would run a lot, people who would like schlag a lot, try to hit people with items. SVC wasn't really like that. We obviously do that sometimes, but people would never take on certain roles. Uh, I was surprised how quickly actually I like, I guess, settled in into playing with them.
So wait,
I don't
is it
know.
like is in SVC? It's like more like or like whatever rule you're thrown in is like or like whatever your spots are. You just play to that, right?
Yeah, kind of. We kind of all played as runners, like as strong
Yeah.
individuals, and then if we ever got like an opportunity to like schlag or something, we do that.
Yeah.
But we never like fished to like try to hit people a lot. Like no one would ever really do that. I'd say like Sergeant was the closest to that,
Hmm.
and it definitely benefited us. I think it's a good thing to have.
Okay.
Um, uh, so it was nice to like try playing in a team atmosphere like
Yeah.
that,
I've
because I know
noticed.
like
Yeah.
yeah, you
Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of like high level MKW teams actually, where like they say like oh like we all try to run like for the four runners, and then whoever gets in the bag they like just try to dodge up or get like items flag.
Yeah, I
Like
think
I feel like
it
Mario Kart 8
that
Deluxe is like more defined in that sense.
yeah, I definitely think in MKD like you kind of it's good to have people who are assigned to roles, I guess, and more actively have them trying to hit the other team. Um, but I'll get into that like in a second, I suppose, and
Yeah.
to continue with the tournament, to not hopefully not, not like
Yeah.
drag this on forever.
Hmm.
Uh, it was interesting playing with like Rookie who uh whilst like he may not be like a super consistent like 120 every wall, like he communicates a lot. And from what I could tell, he seemed to be like the voice of the team in a sense.
Yeah.
I try to communicate a lot like with him as well. It felt like it was nice having him in the war compared to not having him in the war, because he definitely like communicates like a lot more than most of the people I've played with there. Like it's I like props to him, and it seems that like he he will. hit the other team a lot. I think that's a good thing. Um, like I said, uh, XI, I don't really know what to say because I don't know if they wanted to play, to be honest. From what I knew, they weren't really that interested. So
Okay.
I can't really blame them for like not feeling as like for the wall not feeling as difficult as it was
Yeah.
versus Jabez, for example. Um,
The Jabez war was
uh,
crazy, by the way.
uh,
That war
like
was ridiculous.
yeah, I was surprised about like the outcome in the end. Like it didn't feel like it was a war we were gonna win. Obviously, I hadn't given up, but it was difficult. I guess to get into that, um, playing versus Jabez, I haven't really had many experiences with it with SVC.
Hmm.
Uh, like because I didn't really play much outside of MQU. Well, we didn't, but in MQU when we played them, they did. I believe they kept it quite close a few times,
Yeah.
and I didn't really think much of it.
Hmm.
Uh, no offense to them, I kind of thought of them as like a little bit of a downgraded version of Zealous. But
Oh, okay.
I was definitely like wrong about that. Like they're completely
Hmm.
different. Um, uh, but I guess I just needed to play versus them more, or experience playing versus them in a different atmosphere, I guess. Um, but what I realized about them is that how aggressive they are, especially at the beginning of races, like they are very good at keeping momentum, keeping top spots, keeping your team out of the top spots, and I felt that a lot in the war versus them. Um, I there were a lot of races near the beginning where we were having trouble getting up there, and I remember like there were like I was up there with like four of them a few times, and
Oh
it was
no.
like how can I beat this?
Yeah.
Like because you know obviously 2 items versus 8 items, you know obviously I'm at a severe disadvantage. Um, and I would last for a while sometimes, but then you know then something would happen,
Yeah. Mario Kart
and you
happens.
know and that would be it. Like they would just destroy me because there's more of them than there was of me. But then
Oh.
gradually, like more of us started getting up there later in the wall. Like we didn't let the morale drop. We kept it up there. I think with SVC sometimes like it gets to a point like if things are going badly. Where the morale will be like pretty bad, especially when we weren't as interested in playing. Like it would be really bad,
Do
and
you think
then
it's like an
the whole
underdog mentality?
possibly. Um, but in SVC, like I said, it would be really bad. And
Hmm.
the whole SVC GP3 thing would kick in, and we'd be like, okay, we need to not lose.
Yeah. The
That's when
GP3 buff.
like I think GP3 like that GP3 was the only time, in my opinion, like if we were losing, where we actually played at our best.
Hmm.
Um, for whatever I think it's because, and I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this. I think we got used to winning to the point where we half-assed it, which uh, I try I don't know, like I can't force myself to try my hardest. It's not something I can
Yeah.
do. It's something that just happens,
Hmm.
um and I feel like we just played stupid sometimes. We made a lot of mistakes, and it didn't really matter because we would still like win a good majority of the time.
Yeah.
And then GB3 after like we've hit this like rock bottom, like everyone is pissed off, aside from like me and Danny, I guess. Um, and I guess Strike as well after he joined. It got to this point where we were kind of like, okay, it's GP3 now. We need to straighten out. We need to
Yeah.
actually focus. And then that would happen, and none of us would be angry. None of us would be upset. We just play, and we play really well, and we try our hardest. And I really enjoyed when SVC was like that. I mean, regardless, I enjoyed it. But yeah, but in NHD, um, it felt like the morale never really dropped. It was at like a consistent uh we weren't like obviously we weren't super excited to be losing, but we definitely weren't upset
Yeah.
to the point where it hurt us.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like that contributed a lot to the like how we came back and stuff like that. And once we started getting in the front more as a team and having more top spots up there, as difficult as it was versus a team like Jabiz, it got to the point where uh, we were starting with top spots in the last race, and we kind of thought, okay, like we need to, I guess, take a risk. We're down by so much, and we got a track pick here. Just run. And the risk was, picking Urban Road, a track where shock is so powerful, but we're good at it. Um, and if they didn't get shock, then we hopefully, assuming things went well, we would win. And that happened. There was a point where like I went for shock, I believe, like one or two boxes, and Rookie was going for it for a while as well. Um, and I believe Twonk was back there lap 3. But we had top spots like the entire
I remember
race.
you guys like. I remember specifically you guys got double bullets or something, and then you did the bullet strat or
Yeah,
something like that.
I'm I'm not sure where Rookie pulled his. Uh,
He was holding it for a while,
I,
I think. Like at the.
yeah, I know that. I was not sure where it was. He obviously did a good
Yeah.
job to hold it to where he did. I'm pretty sure I pulled it relatively close to the cut, so it
Hmm.
definitely was fortunate. Like I'm not gonna be that guy who's like, as much as I don't like to talk about luck, I don't want to be that guy who says we got unlucky. Like I don't like to say we got lucky
Hmm.
in the same sense. I just want people to accept what happened typically.
Yeah.
But obviously it would have been rough for Jabiz to see two of us at the bill, none of them at the bill, and not pull the shock. Like
Hmm.
Mario Kart is like that sometimes, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
it's annoying. But uh, typically, like the better team will win across multiple the wars. So they just have to wait for like until next time. See if they can. Like obviously, I'm not trying to say that
Yeah.
HT is better. I just mean like we will see like what happens.
Hmm.
Like obviously it's subjective which team is better. There's no real way to
Yeah.
like prove it. So like
Yeah.
if if
You
they if they
basically
if they
like.
want to prove it,
Yeah.
then just beat us.
Yeah.
As like I can't really think of a way to say it nicer than that. Like realistically, um, you just have to keep your head up, like and try to win next time.
Hmm.
And they're definitely capable of that. They're a really good team.
Yeah.
And I guess sorry to interrupt you, but to quickly add, like
Okay.
as quick as I can, because I know I've
All right.
spoken a lot about this. Um, the thing that kind of made me think about like the whole like hitting people and how important it is was actually War versus Japan. When I played in that Team A, like SVC has always been a team that, like I said, played more as individuals, and we kind of took the stronger individual players from SVC that I guess were more interested. Rubble and Strike were definitely not interested, though. I didn't realize how much they didn't want to play, and Zinc didn't really want to play either. NATO was sick, so we got Jobo, and Jobo just hadn't really experienced playing with us or playing in wars that strong. But I noticed when rewatching what had happened, because I was just thinking, oh, Japan just that much better than us. Um, I realized that like we kind of played our own race. I kind of experienced a lot of the races saying that like I was up like when I was up there, it would be with a lot of them, and when someone else is up there, it would be with a lot of them. Like they just
Yeah.
outnumbered us in the front, and that reminded me of Jabiz actually. And I realized it's probably because of how aggressive Japan were with their items. What we did, thinking we were being smart, holding our items to win the race, we were just holding our items and not posing a threat to the other team at all when trying to catch up. So they just destroyed us in the pack. And in general, I think because of, like I said, the lack of interest of some players, the lack of experience playing with us, and how sick NATO was, we just got like they just played better. They were prepared for the match more than we were. They outplayed us a lot in the front. They just played better, and we played in a way that just wasn't going to stand a chance really.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, that made me think about how important hitting people was, and it led me onto a lot of stuff. I hadn't thought about something about Mario Kart in this much detail in a long time.
Yeah. I
But
guess
yeah,
jumping into it, like I guess this is a good transition point because like in Mario Kart 8, you were like I heard a huge part of it, and especially early on, was the idea of playing very defensive. Um,
yeah,
in Mario Kart 8, mainly because of how the items were set up, how like I guess like playing defensive was like the best way. We can talk a little bit more about like Mario Kart 8, like the differences between Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like in terms of like driving items. I know you want to mention vehicles and I think mini turbo differences, which I have no idea about. So where do you want to start
yeah.
with that?
Um, in terms of like how defensively you have to play now, I feel like you can like you can backstab a lot more reliably because with the way with that protection works, um, if you have a coin and you hit an item box, you're not getting another coin, so you can guarantee protection.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
and it makes it so that if you have a coin in your second item and an item in your first slot, like a banana or green shell, you know you can backstab that and 100% get protection afterwards. So I feel like a lot of people um, started playing more aggressively in this game, especially because of how much easier it is to hit someone in the pack. Because of lag trails, you can like abuse those and hit people pretty easily. I definitely think Mario Kart 8 was a lot more of a defensive game. Like some people are aggressive players. Like obviously I was like not all the time, but there were times where I was extremely aggressive. I would backstab a lot. I would try to snipe people a lot. Um, and I still do that in this game. Uh, but a lot of people now are doing it too. Honestly, I think I'm not as good at backstabbing and sniping and stuff like that as I was in the previous game either. I don't know if that's because I haven't bothered with it as much, or what. Maybe I'm just washed. But um, but like the standard bike, which I typically use, definitely feels like harder to control for me. I definitely prefer using a cart because I feel like my control over a cart, even if a standard bike is smaller and supposed to be objectively better,
Mhm.
my control of the cart makes it so I'm better at aiming, whether it's with a sniper or the backspam or avoiding things really precisely. Um, which is why I actually prefer using the Wiggler, but it gets hit more because of how big it is.
Yeah.
Um, and that kind of leads into how many combos can be used. Like there's so much. Like
Yeah.
how MK had like the Blue Falcon or the Street Roll at the end with slicks and is super heavy. Like it just isn't like that now. You can use like typically I guess any of the heavyweights I use, like a super heavy, a cruiserweight, like the metal characters. They are definitely used the most, but other people like who like Ace Team Man, he uses Shy Guy and it
Mhm.
works because the disadvantage in using Shy Guy isn't as big as before, if it's even there, because you know you, the speed matters less because of the MT buff. I don't really know the specifics of the MT buff, but yeah, the MT stat being bigger is a lot more helpful now than it was before. And since I believe that reduces as you go down weight classes, it makes up for the loss of speed.
The MT stat
So
increases, right? As you
yeah,
go down
it
classes.
increases. Yeah, I
Okay,
believe that's
okay,
how it
okay.
works.
All right.
Um, and yeah, that's why you have like world records with babies and stuff, and it's like it's the I find it interesting. I don't know everyone is fond of it, but I do like how a lot more things are viable in terms of
Yeah.
combos. I think it keeps it fresh. I like to be able to use different combos when I'm feeling a different combo. It's nice not to be locked into one. Uh, I guess. What else was it that you wanted to ask about, like
I'm
new
assuming that
games?
driving mechanics are a lot more simpler right now.
Yeah, it's been simplified a lot, and it's not even right now, really. I don't think it'll ever
Or
be
like,
anywhere near as
yeah,
complicated as MKU. Like, obviously you had the fire hopping, you had
demon
you had
sliding.
yeah, you had launches, like
Yeah,
there
so
was
much
so
tech.
much, and
Yeah. Do you miss some of
now
that
in this
tech?
game, definitely like I prefer MKDX as a game,
Hmm.
but the driving alone, MKU I prefer by a country mile.
Yeah,
Like that. I love the driving in that game.
yeah.
Um,
Time trialing in MK8 was like, MK8U was like probably the most fun I've ever had with time trialing in
yeah,
general.
yeah. I but yeah, the driving is just very basic now. Uh, like it's not to say that it doesn't matter at all, because being fast can help you, but it's definitely not like being Sergeant Guy, for example, and breaking away a hell of a lot just because you're really fast or use the
Yeah.
D-pad or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, you can't really do that. Like it will benefit you, but not as much as before. Like soft drifting is like the only like tech now really.
All right.
And whilst that will help you, it's obviously not going to help you nearly as much as being able to drive MKU perfectly.
All right. Dang. We have 30 minutes already. Damn.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
even
I
gone.
did say
I haven't
yeah, I
gone
did
through
say I
half of
talk
them.
a lot.
Uh,
Oh,
you know what I'm gonna do? I think I might just. I did this with the life interview as well. I might cut this into two. So like this would be like part one, and then the next part would be
yeah,
part two because I'm gonna talk about Mario Kart Wii right now. So we just jump right into that.
yeah,
I
sure.
had this. I already had this. I had another question, but I guess this would come into a little bit later. So he used to be playing a lot of Mario Kart Wii a lot, and but recently I think I know you play. You technically play for Vitality and WL, but you're not playing. You say you don't really play. I remember when I first talked to you, like approached you for this interview. You're like, oh yeah. I initially wanted to do a Vitality interview with you, but you say, oh, I don't know that much
Yeah.
about it. So like, what happened with Mario Kart Wii is just like, okay, I guess I kind of know what happened, or I would say like, is it like how it is with a lot of players where they feel very burned out by the game, or is it like a different thing altogether?
Um, Bit of both. I guess with the burning out, I just play the game for so long, like many others, and I got kind of bored of it. I was supposed to quit it for a while, and I kind of just kept playing because I was like, yeah, this is my final season. No, this is my final season. No, this is my final season.
So
Because
on and
like
so forth.
teams would kind like I'd get like an opportunity to play and kind of think that I guess I could. And then with Ari, I kind of felt like I'm not obliged to play, but I felt like I wanted to. I didn't want to let them down, especially
Hmm.
because I don't think the CT team would have played without me.
Okay.
Um, so I really wanted to be able to play with them at least one more time. Uh, but yeah, in general, it was like a burnout, and I don't really know much about the VA situation because I'm just not paying attention to
Uh,
WL
yeah.
Marco Wheeling at all. So I wasn't sure how much I
Yeah.
could really help
I
when I
was
talked
talking
about the
to
WL
like
season.
I think I was talking to Fox. I'm like, oh, does anyone want to do an interview for VA? Because he declined. I'm like, oh, you can ask Xander, but I don't. I think you said like, oh, Xander volunteered, but he doesn't know anything. And then Roy insisted me on like giving you an interview about this. So I'm
Yeah,
like, I was really sketched out. I was like, I don't
yeah,
know. I
I
feel like you don't play
understand.
that much.
I think Roy just knows that I'm going to talk a lot, and either he wants to listen to me talk, or he's going to find it hilarious to see a
Yeah.
9-hour interview. Like, but
Uh,
yeah, like as to other reasons why I quit, I guess this is where it gets kind of like unconventional. Um, at least part of it. Uh, I lost a lot of interest because I guess originally my goal in playing like most games I play, not to say I play that many, uh is to be the best. Like that is what I want. um I'm really really competitive. um and I kind of felt like I might have gotten a taste of that like back in 2015 when I first started playing Skypeless and I was actually watching videos to improve.
okay.
And Sean and Mikey were supposed to be like really, really good players, like the best two players at the time. And I was like consistently outperforming them in the lounge back then.
Hmm.
Um, and eventually, like soon after, even I just like I fell off and I couldn't do that. And it bothered me, and it kind of like it motivated me a lot to kind of be able to get to where I was there, where I thought I was there, and become the best. I thought, if I could do it for that period of time, I can definitely do it again. Um, and I ended up working a lot, trying to figure out what I need to improve on, because there were times where in CX where I was doing so badly without call, I just sucked. And then eventually that kind of transitioned over to Calling Wars 2 in the FU season I played with Killer with Facial RCS and
Hmm.
Nico. Um, I was I was just like I couldn't do well in Calling Wars either, and that bothered me. And it kind of like it brought like it kind of made me think like, and it's funny because Killua originally like told me back when I was like starting to do really well back in 2015. He said that I think something along the lines of like, you're in first like every race, and I kind of thought to myself like, wow, like I want I want to be that. I want to be able to do that. Uh, like I want to, if he's right, I want to be able to maintain that and be able to do it like for the rest of the time I play. I want to be that good. Um, and then obviously I failed to do that. And later on, when I went to watch like, I think it was gonna be a cast of like the finals or something, I saw in the stream chat Samuel, whether he had bad intentions or not, I think he was just trying to speak as objectively as possible. He said like Xander's in the back like every race, and like he was basically saying, he's doing nothing. And I know typically a lot of people will kind of look at that and be like, he's just, he's just being salty, like all of that. He's being stupid. Like I think if someone saw something like that about them, a lot of people will kind of dismiss it and be like, he's wrong. But I thought about it for a while and I realized like he's right. And that's when I kind of remembered what Killua said, and I realized I wasn't getting up there enough, and I kept improving, realizing that. Um, and it made me really, really want to play. Uh, and that brought me to a point where I thought, or more like I felt, that I had reached my goal of being the best, but I didn't like. And this might sound weird. I felt like I did, but I didn't think it because there was such a small gap at least what I felt was that there was such a small gap between myself and the other players who I thought were really good that I just thought to myself, I can't consider myself the best. Like I don't want to until I increase that gap. Um, uh, and like it was just a feeling, but there was nothing backing it up. Uh, and eventually I started performing a lot better and get on and just improving and kind of like I think like when Sean was like really 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 good. I mean, he's still really really good, but back when I like kind of looked up to him in a sense, I would ask him a lot about like what to do in certain situations, and I would watch a lot of the top players play, and I tried to take something from all of the top players and kind of make it my own in a sense, and use that to try and become really good. And again, I thought I accomplished that. Um, and there's no way to really say for sure, but in the season I played actively with RE, I did really, really well. And then the matches I played actively for in the most recent season with VA, I did really well versus the two WZ teams. I did perform quite poorly, maybe not poorly, but not as good as I wanted to in the finals. Uh, but I think I definitely showed what I could do in the WZ matches, but regardless of whether people uh, believe it or not, like believe like it's luck or whatever. Um, but I guess it was similar to SVC in the end. Like I kind of got bored of like of the community kind of being stagnant in a sense. There weren't really many people improving, and originally I kind of didn't want to upload gameplay or stream. First, because I don't like people watching me, and next because I kind of wanted to. I was so fixated on trying to be the best, I didn't want to show like secrets or whatever, as stupid as that sounds.
Yeah.
Um, and eventually I kind of realized that like people like other top players regardless don't, and and I don't think they ever will look up to me enough to study my game like that
Yeah.
or whatever, because I know not like I know there are some of them that think I'm just like overrated as hell, and that's fine. I'm not gonna like rail them for having their own opinion.
So
Um,
did you like want to be like someone like
and
Sean, who like people looked up to and watched like gameplay and stuff like that?
I'm not really sure. I think I just want people to acknowledge me or maybe believe that I was the best. I wanted to, because obviously it's a subjective thing. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, yeah, I am the best, and then be the best. Like you can't just universally be the best because you think you are.
Yeah.
Like other people have to acknowledge it, and that like it. I feel like a lot of people did, but I wanted people to improve, and I could see a lot of like even though they might dismiss this if they hear this, uh, I can see a lot of things and a lot of the top players maybe not a lot, but like quite a few things in other top players that they could definitely improve. Even if I'm not playing actively myself, like I still retained what I like knew when I played actively. Um, but like they don't want to listen. I've tried to like, for example, if, actually I don't want to
Yeah, you
actually
don't have to put names.
I
Don't put
almost
names
I
out.
almost I almost named a name. I
Oh my
almost named a
god.
name. Uh, Actually, you know what? I think for the sake of like explaining the situation, I will name a name, but not for like not to like rail on him. It was more like I was talking to Edison in the
Hmm.
lounge, and he like brought something up, and I tried to explain why I did it because it was something that people typically wouldn't do. And I think it's like I said, I got to the point where I wanted other people to improve as well. I just wanted to share my knowledge, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, and then like like then this is yeah, I'm not gonna name a name now because
Yeah,
a top player a top player came and he trashed me for it in the chat there, and it's kind of like that. I feel like if top players aren't gonna bother to learn like try and learn off of other players, or like they're just not gonna take things like that seriously, even if they're not that interested in the game, I feel like I just couldn't really be interested in it either. Like because even people who I considered to be better than, I consider myself to be better than, uh, I would still try to learn from them because it's not like I'm
they have like something that's like a little
like,
bit better than you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that will always be the case. Like I'm never maybe I didn't actually ever become the best. Like I
Yeah.
don't really know that. I can't say that for sure, and I know for a fact as well. Even if I thought I did achieve what I wanted in becoming the best, they will always be better than me at some things. So I thought learning, like, I felt that was important from them, and I think that that did help me a lot in getting better. Um, and they clearly aren't willing to do that, and it kind of bothers me because I got just bored. Honestly, like I said, the community was stagnant. People weren't improving. People I don't know. I don't want to rail on people completely because I understand lack of motivation, and that could have been a huge like contributor to it.
This is okay,
But
so this might be coming from
yeah,
like someone who's not like at all a top player. I feel like the community, like this community skill in general is regressing. Like in terms of
um,
like WL and stuff like that.
e-
I know in terms
well,
of
I mean,
WL for
their
sure.
top players are definitely losing interest, and
Yeah.
I feel like that probably had a big impact or whatever relating to what I said before, like people not really wanting to learn off of
Hmm.
each other and not really interested in getting better. But you know, I can't really speak for like the lower level divisions because I only really played with either my friends at one point or like high level players at some other points. Um, so I'm not really sure. Like again, the top players are the only ones that can really speak that much about. Like the only person who I remember getting like really better, like off the top of my head, is like Neuro. He
Hmm.
improved a lot, and then Luna as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
people might scream
I know
bias because they're both my friends, but
I know
like,
I guess like another
yeah,
example is like Zagler. I remembered he got a lot better over time.
yeah, he
I
has.
remember like he was
Um,
like D4, like when D4 was like the lowest division, and then he like I would say like he would become like a like mid-level D1 player or something like that.
yeah, I,
Uh, Additionally, I
yeah,
think like who else? I forgot it. I feel like I'm trying to remember another name. I guess Edison like as well because I remember him being like kind of like not as good as he used. Like I remember like when he first started, he wasn't like that really good, but over time he got a
mhm,
lot better. So yeah, I
yeah.
can see that. I can see that. But there's a few
Yeah, like,
examples of it. But like,
yeah, people are definitely getting like better. There are people getting better. But I haven't really seen like again like Neuro's the only person who I feel like recently has become like a top player, and it feels like that should be happening like more often. Maybe it's just
it's
like
like in Mario Kart 8.
stupid of me to
I mean,
say, but
we're gonna talk about this, but I guess this is a good transition point. I know in Mario Kart 8, it's like very like a lot of like there's a lot of like new player like there's like a lot of players who like improved like immensely. I remember what was it? what was it like? Remember when DVP was like Division 6 or something, and like MK8U,
Yeah.
and then they like
I
got up there really fast.
yeah, I think they ended up in D1. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
they ended up in D1. I remember it was like I don't remember some of the DVP players, but I remember they ended up D1. I guess Arcadia is also another example. Not to like that might be biased, but whatever. But like people uh like Teeples, who else is there? I feel like that's the only one that kind of is like that because I feel like everyone else is kind of just I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know that much, but
I
like
I understand. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I don't really know that much about the MKD community myself, to be honest, because of who I play with. But there are
Hmm.
definitely more people improving in MKD, and of
Yeah.
course, it is a fresher game, so
Hmm.
naturally, like even the top players can continue to improve. Like they're nowhere
Oh,
near as close to the skill
Sergeant Guy
ceilings of
would be
Mario
a good
Kart Wii.
example of this as well from MK8U, right?
Yeah, I think he definitely improved a lot. Same with Danny, even like
Hmm.
Danny was really good in time trials, but he improved a lot offline. Like I mean, online rather.
Yeah.
His mentality definitely helped him a lot. I think mentality is super important. I think a lot of people don't like. Well, I guess it's like people know mentality matters,
Hmm.
but they 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 it's like they say they do, but it's like they don't really know that it does matter that much because it feels like they don't show it.
Yeah.
Like they'll
It
say
feels
it
like
like as much as
the MKW
they
players are
want,
not
but
as hungry as like the MK8 players. I feel like.
that's definitely the case amongst top players. Because like we were talking about, like the lack of motivation in general. And I can, and even like lower level players, I can totally understand why they wouldn't have as much motivation because top level is kind of dying out.
Yeah.
And even if you do become like better, you don't really get acknowledged for it anymore. I feel like
You get like,
because
sometimes you even
like
get shit on for being like good,
yeah, like
or
yeah,
like
and it's stupid.
people will just
It's
like acknowledge it as being lucky or something.
yeah, like it's like I don't know if this is just a fault that I have of what, but like for example, if I'm watching a person stream who I think is improving, this happened a while ago. Like I think like that I don't want to get into like details because again I
Hmm.
don't want to like name any names, make it obvious what I'm talking about, but I'll say what I can, I guess. It's like this player did something pretty unconventional, and people were like, what the hell are you doing? And I kind of thought to myself, that could be like that could be a legitimate strat. Like,
Yeah.
what if you did this to do this?
Hmm.
And then some of the people were like, dude, like, no, just shut up. Like, you did, like, but honestly, like, it was something so, like, weird that I kind of, like, refused to believe it was for no reason. And I feel like people don't think like that. I feel like they just they are so quick to shit on the lower level players and that in itself could obviously motivate them, but I feel like that could definitely
Demoralize
demotivate a
them.
lot of them
Yeah.
too. Like, what, and it's a huge problem. Like obviously the game is not going to go esports, or at least I don't think it is. Uh, not for a
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
ass time
Probably
anyway.
not. Yeah.
But I still think if they care about playing the game, they should like maybe think a little more before they speak.
Yeah.
Uh, I hate seeing people getting shit on just because uh top players' egos are generally just
Hmm.
like really
It's like
big and they
their
refuse
way
to
or the
acknowledge
highway.
people.
Some are saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
It's just that mentality and just the lack of like people getting, I guess, complacent with their level like when they're already really good. And again, like back to what I said about not wanting to improve anymore because of that, not trying to improve anymore, which baffles me because even if I think I'm doing really well, I will always try to get better. Um, like that just it made me think like what's the point in me playing? Like I want to make other people improve. I want them to make me improve. I want it to bounce off of. Yeah, I want it to like to bounce off of us. I
Yeah.
want the whole community to get better.
Hmm.
People clearly just don't want that. They've just gone to the point where like, yeah, I'm already like really good. Yeah, I'm already the best. I can't learn from you. I'm better than you. Like all of that. Like it. it just ruins it, and
There's no
I
like
think it's
motivation in getting others better and yourself better.
yeah,
I
like
just yeah.
and I'm obviously guilty of it myself as well because I was supposed to do that like with MK. I was supposed to do this massive guide with Tyler, and we kind of lost motivation
Yeah.
in doing it. And even now, I want to write something because there's a lot of things I want to share about both games, whether people want to listen or not. I want to pass down what I know, as stupid as it sounds.
Yeah.
Um, and like and even if people don't care to hear it, maybe like generally maybe someone will, and maybe it would help someone a lot. um like and I'm a lazy person. I will I'm happy to admit that. uh and like that is like the biggest like hurdle for me when it comes to doing something like that, because I have like it's going to take a lot of time to write something like that, and even though I really want to, and even though I definitely have the time to, I need to get past my laziness and actually just do it. Because it's definitely something I'd like to get done eventually before I even lose the motivation or the desire to do that as well.
Is it for both Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Yeah,
Deluxe?
definitely, definitely, yeah,
Um, I personally would love to see that for both games. Like, if you want my, I personally like to see. I just like seeing stuff like just like guides in general. I remember just was it or not Barry? What is his name now? Psych or something?
yeah,
Yeah,
Psych.
like
I
I
mean, I
re
call him Psych, but it might be Psych.
yeah, whatever. I don't know. I always refer to him as Barry because that's
Yeah,
how I've always known him.
I
So yeah,
mean,
I
at
remember
least you know
Barry.
how to pronounce that for sure. Like, I don't know how the hell he's supposed to pronounce
Yeah,
Psych or Psych or whatever.
yeah. But like I remember Barry posted something like that, but it didn't get very much that much traction. I feel like I feel like you should definitely do it for Market Deluxe. I feel like they'd be very. I feel like those people they're young, and I feel like they're very like
Yeah.
eager to learn as well.
Definitely, yeah. Like in contrast to the Mario Kart Wii community, I
Yeah.
definitely agree. Whilst there are people who will want to learn in that game too, that I think the vast majority of people
All
are probably less likely to care. Um,
although I know personally, I'm in Battlecry, and I know like that they're very eager to learn. So like what they do, you know how
yeah,
like the new track list came out and stuff like that.
yeah,
So what they do is like whenever the new track list comes out, they do like an FFA just to like for all the 20 tracks and just practice that, something like that. So
hmm,
I know that there are people who are hungry to learn. It's just that they get shit on so much, or like I feel like also
yeah,
like additionally like the top players, they feel like they're already the best. Like why would I need to improve and stuff like that. I feel like
hmm,
there's not a lot of drive in those top players. I feel like that's a huge issue
yeah,
in Mario Kart Wii. And I don't know if
definitely,
it's because like if it's because of we've been playing same double round robin style for teams for ages. The FFA
hmm,
format is kind of like bust. They don't like playing FFAs or some for some weird reason. Even though I personally think that FFAs are are a lot are a better way of like doing this game than. But I
yeah.
don't know. People like disagree with me. People say because they like say like
People will always shit on a format that they underperform in. Like it's
yeah
just how it is. Because I mean, in Mario Kart, if you do badly, it feels like you're getting destroyed,
yeah
and that is the case sometimes, but that does not consistently happen.
yeah
If you're inconsistent in a format, that is your fault. That is
yeah.
not the game's fault.
Like I would like to see more besides like lounge. I would like to see more like FFA formats. Like I know MKU did this whole FFA circuit. I don't know how. I think was it well received at the time. I don't remember that much.
I'm not sure, honestly. Like, I, I don't know really.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I feel like in general, like there should be more. I feel like more formats because I the only thing we really have is WL and everyone and like there's like little like sort of leagues. Like I don't know, Jeff has a league, and like I think there's
Yeah,
one with like a lot of the low like some of the lower level players, but like they're using the same format, which is like double like round robin style.
yeah,
I feel like in general it's getting boring to people. I feel like there should be a change in format and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Maybe do.
I'm sure that some people would agree. I don't really know the general consensus, but I can definitely see people losing motivation because they're doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And not to say like I was like talking about like top players refusing to learn and all of that, uh and then like obviously I don't think it's all because of ego. Like I did say before, motivation can be a huge part of it. You know, I personally am demotivated. I don't blame them if it's like that as well. Um, it happens. Like but like I guess a quick little note, like there obviously are people like top players who are really interested and like they play a lot, and those are the people I was referring to with what I said, like the ones that clearly like they care still, they want to play a lot, yet they refuse to listen to anyone but their own words, I guess. Like their word is law. You do not do it better than them.
Yeah.
Um, though that's what I kind of think isn't really excusable because that's clearly not a lack of motivation. Like that's just ego, like
Just.
like clouding your uh, thought process, I guess.
Yeah. Wow, that's such a dour note to end on. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about. I guess we can talk about. I already. I mean, I was gonna talk about EGX, but I feel like we don't have enough time right now, which is kind of
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunate.
honestly,
Luckily,
honestly,
unluckily, I don't know.
I mean, there's not much to say, so I guess I'll just quickly say this: the event was terrible. You were supposed to submit which controller you want to use. I submitted gamepad. They wouldn't let you use gamepad.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
yeah, it messed with the signal or something, so yeah, that's understandable. And then worst of all, the TVs had like 1 or 2 second delay.
Oh
So
God, no, that's so terrible.
yeah, it
Oh.
was a really, really poorly run event. I, like obviously everyone is disadvantaged by it. It's just like I'm saying like yeah, I lost because of that. Like everyone had to deal with that. Um, I had a good shot at winning, aside from my like excluding, I mean including my mistakes in the beginning or whatever. Like I did mess up a lot near the start, like trying to get used to the controller and all of that. And I'm sure everyone made mistakes because of the fucking delay. Uh,
Holy
but
shit.
I was actually gonna win. I am pretty sure if I remember correctly. But I think something happened in Rainbow Road like last race, somewhere around the end, and I ended up getting third instead of first. And I was a little like, okay, I'm not too happy about that. But you know, the event itself was ran pretty terribly. Um,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna let it get to me really. Um, at the time, I didn't really this is well before I had any sort of goal like becoming the best as well, so
Mhm.
it didn't really like bother me. It was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this event, like play and see if I can win. Um, so it was no big deal really. And then the memes came along, and that did like upset me a little bit, but again,
Mhm.
I got used to it.
Yeah.
And now like if the me like as long as they don't get like constantly posted, because that would annoy me. But like I
Mhm.
see like a French server having like a CWL emote of my face. I just find it like I find it funny. I thought it was hilarious the first time I saw it because like like the pictures that were taken, perfect times to make myself look stupid. I mean, I already looked stupid at the time. I just looked terrible then.
Yeah.
But the pictures, the time of the pictures definitely didn't help. Uh, but you know, I just try to look back on it and I try to laugh. I try to learn from it. I know I'm
Mhm.
definitely not going to something like that again unless I know it's gonna be like handled well. Um,
Uh,
you know, not to say I wouldn't go to meetups in general though. I want to meet up with like SEC for example, but a gaming event, I'll definitely think long and hard about that
yeah.
before going again.
Uh, so do you just want to talk about like future stuff? Like, what do you have plans for? I know you're doing MKU with HD, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna be playing MQ with HD. I don't know for how long. I guess until I lose motivation in the game, and then like the only way I would not like play with HD assuming I had motivation by like some miracle is if SVC came back, but the chances of that happening pretty damn low. Um, I like HD a lot, so it's something I would have to think about as well, because I definitely don't want to like just join HD and be like, all right, well, if he's back, I'm leaving. But um, like I want, like ideally, I would like to spend a while with HD. I don't want to be that guy that goes between clans and
Yeah.
just messes with the atmosphere and fucks it up for people.
Hmm.
I want to write it out with HD. See how things go. Um, Outside of Mario Kart, I'm obviously playing Fortnite a decent amount. I'm not playing it as much as I was before because I need to get my mouse and keyboard set up to actually play with that. Because if I'm playing with a controller,
Oh
I
God.
like I did considering I use a controller on PC, I did get quite good at it, but I obviously need to switch to mouse and keyboard to actually have a chance of getting as good as I want to be at the game.
How many solo wins do you have?
Um, I've played like no solo to be honest.
Oh,
So I
okay.
like I've pretty much only squatted. Um and I probably would have a difficult time because whilst I'm like pretty good, that's only because my aim is like good. Like I guess it's like it's like for a controller that is, it's nothing like amazing.
Yeah.
And then I guess like in game I'm a smart player, like in fights, but I can't build. I cannot
Oh
build
no.
uh,
Oh
because like
no.
and I never really practiced either. Like I
Yeah.
mean I can build a bit, but build fights like getting the high ground over the person in a fight I can't really do. Uh, because controllers just it's not very good at that, and I haven't really put the practice or the effort in. Because I kind of told myself I'll practice when I switch to mouse and keyboard, which still hasn't happened because I need to get my own thing, like a lot of things sorted out. So, when that happens, I'll get to actually like practicing that a lot and hopefully becoming better than I already am.
I like how this casually turned into a Fortnite interview. Oh my God. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Like, I don't know, to the community, to HD, I don't know, friends?
uh, yeah, I mean, I would like to I know this is gonna be cheesy, but like I would like to obviously thank HD for kind of letting me play with them because I'm definitely like I'm not gonna be that guy who like says oh no like I'm not gonna be stupid, like obviously I know I'm good. I'm not gonna like I don't like to be super modest because I don't want to be that guy who's when someone's like you're really good and be like no I'm not that good and have them
Mhm.
think like well what am I then, like I just want to
Yeah.
be as honest as possible. I definitely don't want to brag, but I don't I'd rather be real with people with what I think than modest.
I mean, you're only
Like
considered like what, one of the best
yeah,
players in Mario Kart 8? Yeah, no biggie.
yeah, like uh,
Oh wait,
I
actually, before we end, I want to talk about the Japanese community a little bit. Uh,
okay. Well, yeah,
yeah,
to add to like HG real quick before
okay.
we get into that, like I would like to thank them. Like obviously I know I'm good or whatever, but I still kind of had like I wouldn't say like a guilt, but like uncertainty that I should really be in a position to like be put in the main lineup or whatever,
Mhm.
like right away because they don't really know me. I'm happy that they let me play. Um, I'm happy that like they're willing to like learn and all that as well. Similar to what I said before. Like if I bring something up and talk about it, they will take it into consideration and think about it. Uh, and I really like that. Uh, People being willing to be open-minded and learn and all of that. I love it. So yeah, but like I guess to everyone, try to do that. Keep up with that if you care about. Try to like, you know, uh, I don't know. I'm not gonna do a ton of pep talk. Like I
Yeah,
just yeah.
just be
Go
good.
ahead and ask. Yeah, basically, don't flame people. That's the
Yeah.
best advice I can give. Just try to be buddies with everyone.
Before you go, I kind of actually want to touch on you play. I don't know. I know you used to play a lot in Mario Kart 8 U, but I don't know much about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Do you play with a lot of the Japanese community?
Yes. I think the Japanese community was my main way of playing. if not my only way of playing outside of MKU, because SEC didn't really war. Um, I'm
Um,
friends with quite a few of them, especially like Moa.
yeah.
So I get to play like in a lot of good rooms, which I'm grateful for, because previously the Japanese community, like back in Mario Kart Wii, were very like uh they did not like playing with people outside of Japan.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that the top players or the top Japanese players are willing to play with others from like overseas.
Do you feel like
Uh,
do you feel like that's also another motivating factor for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or that like you don't want to be just like the best like Western player, but like the best player like in the entire world?
Yeah, that's typically my goal. Like when I want to be the best, that means like better than everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, like that'll be my goal. And the competition, in Japan, there's a lot of really good players, and not to like shit on our community. There are definitely good players in our community too, but there's such a big player base, uh, in the Japanese community, that naturally there are more like top players. Um, and it's like it's nice to be able to play in like those Japanese tournaments that are like held so often, um, and then play in rooms like that, uh, and again, I just consider it lucky, I guess, that they allow that, like, because they could just say, screw you guys, but only playing with each other, and that
Hmm.
would be the end of that. Like, because Japanese players are obviously really good. I want to learn from them too. I like if I look into a lot of them and how they play. I feel like in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8D, I'm a lot more confident in how I play than in Mario Kart Wii. I feel like Mario Kart Wii, I looked at other players more because I kind of climbed up. Whereas in
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8, I kind of like started like
Hmm.
kind of at the top in a
Yeah.
way. Um, so I feel like I'm a lot more confident in the way I play, and I feel like uh, I wouldn't say I invented how to play, but I feel like I did popularize a lot of things, whether
Hmm.
people like realize it or not. Um,
Yeah.
and uh, because of that, I don't look to other players as much, but there are still times I do, because I'm never gonna be that guy who thinks like I'm the best, like always 24/7. That it's my goal, and obviously, uh, again, like I said before, I like I'm not gonna say that like I straight up don't ever think that. Like there have been times where I've been really confident, times where I've been not so confident. Um, but I always want to look as to how to learn, and having other top players there to play with and to watch, it's very, very helpful, to like think about how they play and compare it to my own. So if, when I start underperforming or being unhappy with how I play, I can look to them and think like, maybe if I can incorporate this, and then I'll realize, oh, hey, why did I stop doing this? Um, People will often fall into bad habits when they play and not really realize it. And I feel like having an open mind about the fact that you are not as good as you were before, you have a lot to improve on, you've got a long way to go. Like, even if you're at top level already, I think it's a good mentality to have. And mentality is definitely very, very helpful. See, like Danny, for example, from the Netherlands, SEC Danny. He improved crazy fast. He is literally like Zen mode all the time. He never gets angry. Like I consider myself to be pretty calm typically, um, but like I would still get pumped up, and like sometimes I would get a little bit like aggravated by something, I guess.
Hmm.
Where Danny would just like not react to anything. He would always just be in the same. It felt like he was in the same state of mind, like always. He could always just play super well. It's like he was a robot. Where like I played, I felt like more instinctive, I guess. Like the way I felt kind of impacted how I played a lot. And I guess that's why I enjoy tournaments so much,
Hmm.
because they're the only place I can really like get into it and play it really well, or at least play in a way that I'm happy with, because it's like it feels like there's something on the line. So I enjoy that a lot.
All right.
Just playing with Japanese players in general, it's
Yeah.
good. Like
It makes you learn the most, I guess.
yeah, like
Yeah.
no, not to say I don't learn from like
Yeah. Yeah.
people like
Mhm.
in our community too. That definitely just happens. It's
Yeah.
just that since naturally there's more top Japanese players, so
Hmm.
there are more things to learn from. I guess.
Yeah. That's understandable. All right. Thanks. It's probably the longest. I remember saying to Life like, oh, I won't probably do an interview longer than yours. I shattered that by 20
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. I did say I was gonna talk a lot. I think
Yeah.
like anyone knowing I was going into an interview would know that I'm gonna talk
Yeah,
a
this is
lot.
why I wanted to do the thing with we were talking about this earlier, but I did this thing with Tyler and Xander like I think 2015 or something, and I like they were talking for like 3 hours and something like that.
Yeah,
And I was gonna upload it, but I lost the audio file got corrupted, and I felt so shitty about it. So I didn't tell any of them until like today. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, now I know, so I get to
yeah,
go tell Tyler, and you'll finally understand what happened to it.
yeah. I
Um,
felt so bad. I
yeah,
was so mad at myself. I think next
yeah.
time,
Don't
like,
worry about it.
yeah. I think next time,
Yeah.
like,
So,
yeah, next time
yeah,
I know what I'm gonna do. I'm doing it through OBS now, so like everything should be good.
yeah.
So, yeah. I also talked to this about life, but I'd actually like to do like a podcast sort of thing. I don't know if people would be interested,
Hmm.
but like I like to do podcasts for like just like talking about stuff for like hours and stuff like just about Mario Kart and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
find it
mean,
very interesting.
yeah, I would enjoy something like that as well. Like I even thought of like maybe doing a podcast thing too, but again, I'm so lazy
Yeah.
that like it like I don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like about the interview, I guess. Like sorry if I rambled. I know I definitely like at least repeated myself a few times.
Yeah.
Uh, I just talk and I
Yeah.
talk and I talk and I talk and it's I can't really help it.
Yeah. No worries about it.
Unfortunately, I wasn't exactly blessed with a voice that is too entertaining to listen to either. So it's not exactly the greatest combination, but
Yeah.
regardless, I hope someone makes it to the end without falling asleep.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll
Uh,
split it up into two parts. It's fine. It's fine. They don't
yeah,
have to like listen to the entire 1 hour and 12 minute or 13 minute thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sandra.
yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
Thank
If
you
you
for
want,
having me.
yeah, if you guys want to watch more interviews, check out my channel. Thanks.